Do me a favor, Jill. If I'll text you a game. If the game's there, please play it for me.
Okay, that's good. I'm here for 2 days, so
Sounds good.
You guys are live.
All right, welcome to the I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Transit Oversight Committee meeting. It's Tuesday, 1 p.m., April 26th. Myself, Adam Yoder, and Eric Biter from council are here. Councilwoman Katz is not going to make it. We have the mayor, Derek Slaughter, here with us. Good afternoon, sir. We've got Molly from HR, Joe Pavlak from finance, Chuck Cruz, a recently appointed board member to RVTA. Good afternoon, sir. We have our city controller joining us, Jill Nagy, our trained solicitor, Chris Black from IT, and then over at RVT we have Adam Winder, Renee Smith, and Nicole Farr will be joining us here in a few minutes, and Brett Kelly is there also. So I think I got everybody. We're going to jump around a little bit on the agenda. We're going to go to number 2 first, discussion on transfer of benefits. Joe, I know you have a hard stop, so we'll go with you quickly here first. I just wanted to circle back on where we were, if there was an update, where we were at on the transfer of benefits going into the authority. I know there was some actuarial work going on with the pension. Just wanted to check in on that. How's that making out? Where are we at? What can we expect? That kind of stuff.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So the actuary report from the city that's for the past benefits, which is your normal course of operations, will be done by Friday of this week. And that's what we're for. So Mockenhoff should have that. Then the independent actuary will be able to go through that. And what he'll do is a person by person analysis for the RVT people, for those folks who are already vested, what would happen with them. The people that are very close to vesting, what would happen with them, and the people that are very new, that they'll have some options whether to leave their money in or take it out.
Okay.
And he'll be able to quantify that for each. Once he gets that actuary report next, whether it's Friday or Monday, he'll be able to start crunching all those numbers to be able to start having some conversation with the employees, what their options are. So there'll be some type of reconciliation between RVT and the city. Because the city might be carrying some liabilities that RVTA will have to offset. So the question will be, will we know that exact number of what RVT would be reimbursing the city? Will we know that by June 15th or will we know it by August 15th? That's going to be really the only question. So there is a formula that typically happens. The most recent one, Don used an example because he's been independent for a couple of these, was when the water authority left the city of Erie. There was a formula that the state accepted as far as how that would work. So we would probably be doing something similar. Okay. So even if we don't have the hard numbers, he would like to get us the formula probably next month, just so we know how it will work without the numbers. So the last piece that he was waiting for, like I said, should be there on Friday, which means we can get the ball rolling.
Okay.
And just piggyback on that, if I may, Councilman.
Yes, absolutely.
The ONE Pension Board met yesterday, to Jill's point, by the end of the week. So the ONE Pension Board met yesterday afternoon. They approved it. Now Joe Pavlak, I know Joe's on the meeting, but Joe sent that to Mockenhoff, saying that the Pension Board gave it approval yesterday. They're compiling that final report that Jill was referencing. So it did get approval on the city side. Mockenhoff will put the final report together, send it off to Jill, and then we can go from there. So I just wanted to say that the ONE board did give approval to that.
I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you very much.
We also are getting the 457 plan from Wells Fargo. The plan document will tell us whether or not the employees are allowed to roll from a government to government plan. That's governed by the plan document. There wouldn't be any real payback, lost blood, or anything like that with the city if that's what occurs there. So we just have to look to see if the employees have to keep their money in your 457 plan or if they're allowed to transfer it into the new RVT plan. There's not much of a consequence to the city on that because it's kind of the employee's money, but we are looking at that as well, just so we know exactly what the employees have to look forward to from that additional 457 plan benefit. So that's kind of the two-pronged approach to the pension issues. We can also update you. We did talk to, had a robust conversation with Benecon, who does the health insurance for the city. When the RVT people leave, RVT will be responsible for any runoff claims, meaning if someone gets sick on June 15th and gets a hospital bill, that would be RVT's responsibility, even if the bill doesn't come in till like September. So they're working on a methodology now to track those, what they call runoff claims. So basically, RVT would be booking on their audit that there will be some money owed to the city based upon some of those claims that linger or don't get billed until into the fall, maybe even to next year. But that's certainly something that RVT would have to reimburse the city for expenses incurred while those before June 30th. So that is in motion. They're working on that strategy as well. So one of the first meetings of the RVTA board, they will accept those. It would be our recommendation to accept those runoff claims because it is their responsibility for their employees. So that's in the works as well as far as benefit reconciliation. Okay. The other benefit reconciliation, all of the payroll for workers' comp for RVT was transmitted to the safety workers' comp pool. Kevin has those numbers and he's crunching those numbers for the workers' comp costs for both RVTA, but also working to see what refund cost adjustment the city would have for the second 6 months of the year. So that's in the works as well now too, now that we know the exact amount of payroll and humans that are leaving the city of Williamsport. So hopefully we'll have some of those numbers next month, probably for the second meeting. So all of those type of things are rolling together right now from a benefits reconciliation standpoint.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Seems like we're progressing through that. Remind me, Jill, when do we expect to have an idea of, I guess, the options for employees, the feedback on the transfer and what either is owed back to the city or owed back to RVT, that kind of thing?
Dawn would like to have these discussions and what it looks like for the individual employees, especially, like I said, the ones that are close to vesting. He should have hopefully a lot of that information by the end of May. Okay. And then basically what RVT would be doing, depending on the election of those employees, I'll call them on the bubble. Yeah. He'll be able to quantify what type of payback for each of them RVT would owe, as well as he will be able to quantify a number for those folks who already vested in the city's pension. Because basically he'll backfill each individual employee to come up with a number of what that looks like.
Okay. So June, essentially.
June. Worst case scenario, we get them transferred and we're reconciling in July, but that's okay. We know it's owed. It's just a matter of crunching the numbers and getting it transferred over.
Okay. Yeah, the big reason I asked that was more or less just, I mean, if for employees that are, I mean, I think just offering the clarity on, what's happening with people's retirements. I mean, I that would freak me out. So I can only imagine what it's doing for employees, specifically employees that have been there that are vested or employees that are on the bubble. I mean, that's a lot of time that they've dedicated to RVT and to the city, and any negative impact, if there is any. I don't think that there would be, but if there is, the sooner that they know that and that we know that, the better. So
I'm hoping he will be able to have those individual discussions with the employees in May. It'll just be a matter of some of their elections will determine how much RVT pays back. So yeah, the employees should know what they're doing, by the end of May. It's just a matter of crunching the numbers. We just might not know what the amount back to the city will be until end of June, July, but the employees should know next month.
Okay. That was, I just simply wanted to get an update on where it was at. I know we've talked about it a couple of times here, so I appreciate that. Eric, do you have any questions on anything related to this or anything that Jill brought up?
Now, some concerns, but nothing that I don't think would ever get handled in a timely manner. You talked about the lagging payment should somebody get sick, things like that. Do we need to have the board is going to make that agreement? Are they going to vote upon that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, PennDOT has money set aside as part of RVT's operating. So I would just want a resolution from that board to confirm that over to the city. I don't see it being, I don't want to speak for them, but I don't see it being an issue because money's specifically been allocated by PennDOT for that. So it's just going to be a matter of record keeping so that everybody has the resolutions, because like I said, there might not be a bill for surgery that comes to the city till like December, so it'll be
Right.
It'll just be a trickling thing probably for 6 months. The only thing that's going to be a question, and we'll have to have a discussion with the auditors, because it's just something I was thinking of last week. What we do with retiree healthcare, because some retirees that are collecting healthcare now had multiple hats for the city. Like some of their time was spent with RVT, some of it was spent with the city. So there will be a cost to that. But again, they're still getting the benefit under the city's plan, and they won't change from the city's plan. So the question will be, how do we reconcile that between RVT and the city? And I just need to talk to the auditors to see how everybody's been booking that in the audit as an expense moving forward. So again, there might have to be some agreements between RVT and the city. I just don't know what that looks like because I only thought of that issue last week.
Okay.
So we'll certainly be working through that, but that's really that's the one lingering thing that we'll have to address. And again, there might not be a check in the city's hands by July 1, but it's certainly something that we'll work through and look at what those numbers look like. I don't even know how many retirees are on the health plan and what departments they're in. So we'll be getting all that census data as well to make sure it's a fair transition.
Okay. Yeah, keep us posted on that as well. And as always, I mean, if there's something that we need to, discuss in the open like this, I mean, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, we can throw something on the agenda every other week or what have you. So. Absolutely.
The only other thing, just to bring you guys up to speed on, I did put an amendment to the 13C agreement, which is RVT's obligation to maintain its unionized workforce. Mm-hmm. I already put that together to transfer that responsibility from the city to RVT, so that the union could look at that, because until that agreement is that assignment occurs, RVTA can't get the federal funds directly. So that's going to have to be a fairly early in the process agreement. The union has looked at it, had some very minor comments. So that should be a fairly quick thing for the RVT board to do, to transfer that obligation from the city to the RVTA. And shortly thereafter, we'll be able to file the petition with the Labor Relations Board to transfer the union responsibility for all other benefits from the city to RVTA. That will be the last lingering thing that we have to do.
Okay. Okay. Eric, any other questions for you?
No, not at this time. Seems like we're kind of a waiting game till we start to see some numbers and things like that. So I appreciate it.
Yep. No, vice versa. Thank you, Jill. That's helpful, and look forward to seeing what we get in.
Okay.
Mr. Yoder, can I just jump in while we're on the benefits part?
Sure.
Just because I know the employees are the big concern here. Just want to let everybody know that, we have been meeting with an insurance broker, because as of June 30th or July 1st, the employees will no longer be on the city's health coverage. So we are looking at holding the same coverage they currently have. And we are shopping to do our due diligence for RVTA and our board. The goal would be to have something in front of the board at the first meeting to commit to, whether it's Highmark or Geisinger, whichever one, I can tell you based upon the numbers we just looked at, RVTA is looking at significant savings by doing that, by shopping again, to the tune of a couple $100,000 a year. So hopefully that will push forward for the city as well.
Nice. Very cool. No, I appreciate that, Adam. That's good to know. And thanks for doing your diligence on that end. So Eric, anything to add or questions related to that?
No, well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, Councilman, can I ask a quick question?
Certainly.
Is there, just in talking about the benefits and the transition from the city to RVTA, there's no chance of at a lapse of coverage for the RVT employees, are there?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that was just popping through my mind as a parent. You know, as we're going through this transition, you know, we wouldn't want any time where those employees would not be, or their families would not be covered.
No, Mr. Cruz, that was the goal with getting it in front of all of you on May 17th so that we know come July 1, they're 100% covered.
Outstanding. Thank you.
May 17th. Is that the first board meeting?
Yes.
Very cool.
Their
All right.
board training is next Wednesday night. It will be their first board training. May the 4th.
Very good. We're moving along. That's good to see.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for Jill or Adam related to benefits? Cool. Jill, we have 10 minutes or so before we need to go. You're welcome to hang around for the interview if you want. If not, good luck.
Yeah. I'm going to go find the registration. All I have is a tiny little map showing where I'm supposed to be. That's
good luck, Jill. Have fun.
all right. Thanks, guys. Good to see everyone. See y'all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we'll move back up to item number 1. We have an appointment for the RVTA Authority Board, Mr. Noah Bauer of Union Ave, 5-year term commencing on Thursday night, ending in December of 2026. Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Yoder. Yes, today and Thursday evening for your consideration for the final board appointment is Mr. Noah Bauer. Noah has transportation experience. He currently works at Lowestoft Township in their transportation department. He also has experience with PennDOT. And so just speaking with him and his background, all the things he's done related to transit and currently does with his current employer, we felt that this would be a good appointment to fill out that final board position. So obviously we have Mr. Bauer in front of you here today for any questions you all have for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Slaughter. Mr. Bauer, welcome.
you.
If you'd like the floor to just introduce yourself and speak to your interest and what was appealing to it, and what you're looking forward to doing, you're welcome to.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and Council and everybody else involved. As Mayor Slaughter said, I'm employed by Loyalsock School District as a transportation supervisor. In that role, I manage about 20 employees. We have about 20 vehicles. Along with that, I do all our state reporting, mileage calculations, ridership, the logistics behind all the routes, field trips, whatnot. And all that impacts our subsidy reports for the end of the year and whatnot. So it's kind of a big picture of everything involved is what I oversee here. And so that's kind of why I thought with being a lifelong resident of the city to give back and bring my knowledge and background to this board and just an extra perspective to any problem solving that we would have to do to get RVT back on track and move forward in a positive progression.
Excellent. I appreciate that very much, Mr. Bauer. Mr. Biter, I'll turn it over to you first. Do you have any questions for Mr. Bauer?
I do not. I am very familiar with his experience in the realm professionally. I'm also very experienced with him on a personal level. We've had a relationship in one way or another through either some family members. His brother and I grew up together, friends. So I've known Mr. Bauer since he was about 3 years old. I'm old enough to say that kind of stuff now. But he reached out to me to express some interest, which we passed his name along, and I'm very, very pleased that he's in this position with the knowledge that he brings and PennDOT experience he brings. I think he's going to round out our board very nicely for the initial 5 members. I applaud everybody involved for stepping up.
Thank you, Mr. Butter. I would agree. I think Mr. Bauer rounds out the board very well, with his experience, et cetera, everything that you outlined. Mr. Bauer, just as you do have PennDOT experience. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this question or not. And it's okay if you don't. Are you able to speak to, I guess, maybe some of the differences that might exist? And I don't know the answer to this, so this is really a curiosity question. Are you familiar with, or are you able to speak to any of the differences that you probably deal with day to day at Loyalsock versus what you'll likely deal with with a transit authority? Different regulations. Are the funding streams different? Is there any level of familiarity in any of those kind of differences that you're aware of?
Yeah, so I'd say overall it is quite different. We're more regulated by Department of Education and some PennDOT regulations. As far as funding, all ours is based off Governor Wolf's budget for education. I guess RVT or public transportation on that end would be revenue based. We're more tax based for our whatever we can provide to our township. But other than that, all the traffic laws and all that, it all comes into the same effect on that end.
Yeah. No, interesting. I guess I'm not surprised. I guess I'm not familiar with your end of transportation, like with the school district end. So the fact of that being primarily funded and driven by the Department of Education is new for me and kind of a little bit surprising, but I guess it certainly makes some sense as well. So interesting. And again, I don't know how super important it is. I was just kind of curious, but so I know that Mr. Winder had mentioned there's a board training next week. I suspect you're able to make that. They communicated that to you.
Yes.
Okay. And I suspect they probably the mayor spoke to the time commitment. Especially given that this is a new authority, getting it ramped up to speed, doing some of the initial hiring, making some of those, important but decisive macro level decisions for the authority, that kind of thing. You're aware of, I think, kind of the roadmap and what's going to be expected of you initially.
Yeah, so I actually had a phone conversation with Mayor Slaughter, met in person with Brett Kelly and Mr. Winder. So yeah, they kind of outlined how this is going to move forward, and I'm willing to step up and take that challenge.
Gotcha. No, it's good to know. No other questions for me. I would agree with Mr. Biter. I think you round out the board very well, and I'm excited to see you here. And I thank you for stepping up and coming forward to serve. I was going to say the city, but the RVT Authority Board and frankly the region in this capacity. So we don't make a recommendation. This is just simply a time to just chat, and get a feel for you as a candidate, we'll pass this information along to the full body of council on Thursday. And we'll vote to approve you, or deny you. I mean, I don't see why you would not be accepted or approved on Thursday. You're welcome to join, and to come on Thursday night if you wish. You don't necessarily have to at all, though. If you're not able to make it or you just don't want to. Upon approval, we'll get you sworn in. The city clerk can swear you in. You can schedule an appointment, at your convenience and the city clerk's convenience. So if there's any other questions or anything that else the council can do to support you, just let us know.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and I look forward to doing what I can to help RVT out moving forward.
No, sounds good. And again, thanks for joining us, and thanks for stepping up. So
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, excellent. We'll go to item 3, any related items between Mr. Mayor, Mr. Biter, Mr. Winder. Are there anything related that needs to be brought up or hashed out here at today's meeting?
I just had a quick question for the mayor or anybody else that may know that's on. Have the other 4 board members been sworn in? Have they gone through that process?
So I know I've spoken to Mr. Cruz and Mr. Stamen. I know both of them have, and I believe Mr. Moore has as well. I saw Miss Marty, but I did not ask her that specifically, so I don't know if she has been yet. I would imagine.
Yeah.
You said she has been?
She has, but I think it was
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay, so I believe all 4 of them have been.
Yes. Yeah.
That is all I have then.
Excellent. Mr. Winder, anything on your end that you need from us?
Not really. I mean, we need just one more update is that I know some of the board members are coming to RVT on Friday morning just to kind of meet some of the employees and kind of get some information from us and see what goes on here briefly, and a tour of the building, etc. So Noah, I'm pretty sure you're one of the ones coming as well.
Yeah, Brett gave me the time frame for that, so yeah, I'll be able to make it pending no major issues here at the school district in the morning. But I can, if there is any issues, I can let him know, or you know.
Yep, that's fine. I mean, anytime that you're available, you're welcome to stop up and get everything. But that's pretty much it. We look forward to working with the new board and moving forward. Thank you.
Excellent, Mr. Winder. All right. We're through the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn, Mr. Biter?
There is a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Wrapped it up in less than 30 minutes. Nice work, everyone. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll see everybody on Thursday night. Mr. Cruz, good to see you this afternoon also.
Thank you, Councilman. Listen, I'm excited for the challenge, man. I'm looking forward.
You're going to do a good job. I'm excited for you. So,
Listen, from your mouth to God's ears. Together, we'll get it done.
sounds good. Everybody have a good evening.
You as
Thank you.
well.
You too.
Thank you.